first. So y'all were talking about the coronavirus, and it's really nothing to specifically worry about. It's just a virus, folks. I mean, it's going to run its course like everything else. But anyway, but today, because I am a health and wellness nurse coach, I specifically work with those that have been through a stressful situation to learn to bring that peace and joy back into their life and using holistic measures to be able to do that. And there's been a couple, there's like Jill, I know from previous things that we've met. I think this lady right here, I think I recognize you. You were, I think, at the Mount Juliet a few weeks ago when I did. Yeah, so I have been kind of Lori's speaker the last couple of months, seems like, and so I was in Clarksville yesterday, as a matter of fact. So today, I'm going to really talk to you, and I'm going to make this brief, and I'm going to give you 4 A's to be able to help you with your stress. Okay, since I am a stress coach, a holistic stress coach, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, and this can help you in your personal life and in your professional life. So there are, and I have my notes here because I'm still one of these that I have to have my notes, even though I talk about this off the top of my head, but I still have to have my notes. So the first A is avoid. So how would you think that you would avoid like something stressful in your life? And I like group interaction, sort of. I know we've only got 10 minutes, so.
There's Thanksgiving elsewhere.
There you go. That's exactly what I think of, because I tell people, and I told the people in Clarksville yesterday, that I have family that I love to pieces, but I don't want to be around them. And the certain times of the year that you have to be around your family that you don't particularly like are Thanksgiving, Christmas, and what's the holiday coming up? Easter. So you have to be around them. So being able to avoid, maybe not, like when I'm around them at Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's like I sit there and I'm at the table eating with them, but as soon as we're done eating, I go into another room. So I'm avoiding them just because I don't particularly like those parts of my family. So avoiding that, what stresses you out. So at Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter, you can't really avoid your family that, if you want to be around your family, and yes, you can go somewhere else and do Thanksgiving. But if you want to really, avoid that, just like I said, sit there and eat with them, and then as soon as, the meal's done, go into another room and talk to the people, talk to the family members that you want to talk to. Also, another way to avoid is learning to say no. No is a awfully big word for 2 letters. Is it not? It's awfully big. So avoiding, so that's the first one. So learning to say no, avoiding what stresses you out, and also taking control of your environment. So by taking control of, as you said, sir, you want to go do Thanksgiving somewhere else, you can do Thanksgiving somewhere else. But if you're married or something and your wife really wants to do Thanksgiving with her family, well, you may just kind of have to avoid them by going into that other room. So the second A, like I said, there's 4 A's, so avoid's the first one. Alter is the second one. So learning to express your feelings. That's a good way to be able to, and I think we talked about this, did I not talk about the 4 A's at the Mount Juliet one?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So learning to express those feelings, learning to tell, your family members, or, you can't always tell your boss, if you're working, like me, I'm a nurse, and so, I can't always tell my boss that, oh, well, I really don't like what you're doing, so sometimes I may be avoiding, and I may just, circumvent that. But expressing your feelings. Also, another way of altering is by managing your time. Now, I have some coaches that are time management coaches because I am a coach, and so coaches need coaches, we're always in that learning mode, so we need that. So, it's like there are those times that I have to manage my time. Last week, I was not a great time manager. I was very overwhelmed. I was working trying to do, I was working on my business, I was working still as a nurse, and, and it was just, and I did not manage my time very well last week. So this week, I switched it. I'm managing my time better this week. Also becoming more assertive. So as there's a lot of women in here, but there's men in here too. But when women try and assert ourselves, what are we considered?
The bitch.
A bitch. No, you're right. You are really right. We are considered bitches if we try and be more assertive.
I missed you.
But we have to, as specifically women, we have to learn to become more assertive, but not be bitchy in being that assertive. So that's your second A, avoid, alter, okay? Your third A is adapt. So how do you think that you would adapt to something?
Learn to be flexible.
Learning to be flexible, So that's a way of what I consider adjusting your standards. So you're learning to be a little bit more flexible. Like I told Lori today, I said, I'm not going to stay for the entire meeting because I have an event this evening that I would like to get home to, and I would like to kind of decompress from my day of speaking and be able to go home and just sort of decompress for a while. So I'm being flexible there is what I'm doing. Also by looking at that big picture. So, there are those people that are great, and Jill is one that, and I'm using you, Jill, only because I've worked with you. She is great at looking at that big picture and then being able to, make you, look at those little things. I heard, I think you said you were a financial planner. I have a financial planner at home that I use. I'm from Murfreesboro, y'all, so it's like, and Shanessa makes me look at that big picture, but then she breaks it down in those little things that I can do. So looking at that big picture and then focusing on the positive. I wrote a blog post the other day about the tornadoes that came through, Nashville and basically that end of Tennessee, Cookeville and all of that area. And it's like focusing on that positive. It's like, yes, things happened. It was very horrible as to what happened. But I remember hearing on the news Tuesday morning when I got up, because I had no idea that there had been a tornado. The world could end and I won't know it because I don't watch the news. But I got up and I was like, had flipped on the news and I heard somebody say that the school in Donaldson that got destroyed, it could have been worse because instead of at 1 a.m. it could have been at 1 p.m. when you would have had all the children there. So that's a way of, it's focusing on the positive. That's not a huge positive, but it is a positivity piece to that because it could have been a lot worse. We could have had more children at that school that could have died. So, third one, adapt. Okay? Avoid, alter, adapt. The last A is accept. So I am one, like I said, the world could end and I would not know it because I do not listen to the news. I get up in the morning, I turn Channel 5 on because I like to listen to Leland. Leland and I actually knew each other years ago when we were in 4-H together, so I kind of have a special reason why I listen to Leland Statham in the morning. But it's like I watch Leland to find out what's the weather going to be like. So like Lori was saying that she kind of wore summery clothes. I kind of wore summery clothes myself today because yesterday it was like 66 degrees. Today it's like,
You didn't listen.
today it's like in the mid to high 50s, but the wind is like 15 to 20 miles an hour and it's chilly out there. So, I listen to the weather to be able to adapt or to accept also because I can't accept that uncontrollable. I can't accept the uncontrollable of what the weather is going to be like, but I can at least wear a sweater or take an umbrella or wear a heavier coat if I need to. So that's by me accepting I'm not controlling the uncontrollable, okay? Another way that you can accept is you can learn to forgive, and that's forgiveness is hard. I know it is. It's hard for all of us, but we have to learn to forgive. And it's not only forgiving ourselves, but forgiving those people that have wronged us. And if you forgive those people that wronged us, it's like it makes our life, it makes you a better person, honestly. And I've had to do that in my life. And by sharing my feelings too, I also learn to forgive. So those are the 4 A's. What's the first one, guys? Avoid. Second one? Alter. Third? Adapt. And the fourth one? Accept. Okay, all right, thanks guys, that's it.
Awesome.